From his sudden decision to drop out of two high-profile business ventures to a rumored presidential run, this is the real reason Mark Cuban is exiting Shark Tank. Cuban is best known for a couple of things. During his 12-year stint on Shark Tank, he's invested nearly $30 million in hundreds of startups. And as the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, since the year 2000, Mark Cuban has been a courtside staple, known for being pretty outspoken. But recently, the billionaire's dropped some pretty big news. He announced on a podcast that he's planning to leave Shark Tank after the show's 16th season next year. This isn't totally out of the blue, as he mentioned this to Forbes last year. But it's still a significant move, considering his long run and impact on the show. There are also reports from Tuesday saying that Cuban is working on a deal to sell a majority stake in the Mavericks. The potential buyer, fellow billionaire Miriam Adelson and the Adelson family. This is major news in the sports world, especially for Mavericks fans. Shark Tank is currently in its 15th season, and over the years, Cuban has had his share of both hilarious and touching moments on the show. During Season 6, Cuban made the biggest offer in Shark Tank history to Aram, Sue, and Dawoon Kang, the sisters behind the dating app Coffee Meets Bagel. The sisters came into the tank asking for $500,000 in exchange for a 5% stake in their company. Their app was pretty interesting. It aimed to use social media accounts to romantically connect people with a friend of a friend. At that time, Coffee Meets Bagel wasn't yet profitable, but they had managed to raise $2.8 million in funding. However, when it came to revealing the number of users they had, the sisters were a bit vague, only saying they had several 100,000 users. Cuban, being Cuban, was straight to the point. He told them, "If you want an investment, you can't not tell us." This lack of transparency was a deal breaker for him initially, and the other sharks felt similar, citing concerns about the app's profitability and what they thought was an overly optimistic company valuation of $10 million. But then Cuban threw a curveball. He came back with an offer of $30 million for the entire company, the largest offer in Shark Tank history. Then there's the Parting Stone episode. Justin Crowe, the founder of this unique cremation alternative company, pitched to the Sharks, asking for $400,000 for 5% of his company. Mark Cuban found the concept interesting, but noted he'd already invested in a similar startup, Eterneva. He even mentioned taking the idea to Eterneva's CEO. Then there was that episode last year with the Brown brothers from Ride Fresh. They made a bit of a faux pas by giving Cuban, the owner of the Mavericks, a Golden State Warriors branded air freshener. Not surprisingly, Cuban was not impressed, calling it the dumbest marketing move ever. But after all, after being such a huge part of Shark Tank for over a decade, what's next for Cuban after he leaves? Cuban's decision to step away from high-profile roles in Shark Tank and the Dallas Mavericks has sparked quite a bit of speculation and curiosity. Is it a strategic move for a massive political campaign, or is there a more personal reason behind these changes? The speculation about Cuban's political ambitions, especially a possible presidential run, has been a hot topic on social media platforms like X. Given that he's previously expressed interest in politics, it's not entirely surprising that some see his recent moves as laying the groundwork for a political campaign. However, Cuban himself has stated that he doesn't plan to run in the 2024 presidential race, which already includes big names like Joe Biden and Donald Trump. So what's really driving these decisions? In a Forbes interview, Cuban offered some personal insights. He mentioned that his busy schedule was becoming increasingly challenging to align with his family life, particularly his 3 teenage children. With his eldest daughter, Alexis, starting at Vanderbilt University in September 2022, and his other children, Jake and Alyssa, being 13 and 16 respectively, Cuban was finding it difficult to balance filming for Shark Tank and attending Mavericks games. The different schedules for his children's school breaks were complicating matters further. Cuban's situation is relatable to many parents juggling professional commitments with family life. His dilemma highlights the challenges of maintaining work-life balance, especially when your work involves high-profile, time-consuming roles. While his desire for more family time is a significant factor, there's another aspect we can't ignore: the financial incentive. You see, the value of NBA teams has skyrocketed recently. In an analysis from October 2023, Forbes revealed that the average NBA team is now worth a staggering $3.85 billion. That's a 35% increase from the previous year and a whopping 75% jump since 2019. With team valuations soaring, it raises the question: how long will this upward trend last? Now, Cuban has a knack for timing the market. He famously sold Broadcast.com, his internet sports radio venture, to Yahoo for a jaw-dropping $5.7 billion, right at the peak of the dot-com bubble in 1999. Interestingly, just a few years later, Yahoo closed down the service. This move not only made Cuban a fortune, but also showcased his ability to predict and capitalize on market trends. Now, if he sells a significant portion of the Mavericks, the financial windfall could be huge. It would not only be a smart business move given the current high valuations, but also free up a substantial amount of capital. This could allow Cuban to dive into other big investments or perhaps even new business ventures. So, it seems Cuban won't be completely stepping back from the Mavericks. Reports from NBA reporter Mark Stein and the Associated Press suggest that the deal to sell the Mavericks will still leave Cuban with some ownership stake. More interestingly, he's expected to retain operational control over the team's basketball dealings. So, for Mavericks fans and Cuban watchers, he'll still be a familiar figure in the NBA landscape. But that's just one part of the story. Cuban's other major venture, Cost Plus Drugs, is where he's channeling a lot of his energy. He co-founded this public benefit corporation in January 2022 with Dr. Alex Oshmiansky, and its mission is pretty ambitious: to lower prescription drug prices. Here's how Cost Plus Drugs is shaking things up. They sell generic drugs with a flat 15% markup plus $8 for shipping and handling, and it seems to resonate with people. Forbes estimated last year that the company made at least $25 million in sales from over 1 million customers in just the first 9 months. Now, they've doubled their customer base to over 2 million and have forged new partnerships, including with pharmacies at major grocery store chains like Kroger, Fred Meyer, and King Soopers. Plus, they've got health plans like Capital Blue Cross and Select Health on board. This venture is particularly interesting because it's not just about making money. It's about making a difference in a vital area: healthcare. By tackling the high cost of prescription drugs, Cuban is venturing into a space that has a direct impact on people's lives. But the road ahead won't be without competition. Cigna Group, a healthcare insurance giant, recently announced plans to start selling drugs using a model similar to Cost Plus Drugs. It's clear that this is a space heating up with competition, which could be great for consumers looking for more affordable healthcare options. But if there's anyone who can navigate these challenging waters successfully, it's Mark Cuban. Cuban's track record of success in various fields speaks volumes about his ability to thrive in competitive markets. Cuban's approach often combines a humanitarian perspective with a sharp business sense, setting him apart from traditional business leaders. In the face of emerging competition, Cuban's agility and willingness to adapt will likely be key assets. His hands-on approach to investments, as seen with his continuous support for Shark Tank Ventures, indicates a deep commitment to the success of his projects. This level of dedication, coupled with his ability to innovate and adapt, positions him well to make a significant impact in the healthcare industry. As Mark Cuban ventures into this next chapter of his career, it's clear that he's not just riding a wave, he's looking to create one. With his combination of business savvy, innovative thinking, and commitment to making a difference, he's well positioned to leave a lasting impact in the healthcare sector. Or, honestly, whatever sector he wants. So, from a rumored presidential run to his sudden decision to drop out of 2 high-profile business ventures, this is the real reason Mark Cuban is exiting Shark Tank.